How's it going, my squids? We're gonna be back on Smite today, and it's been a while since I've actually made a Smite video. I've been just doing a lot of stuff with Assassin's Creed and Red Dead, Soul Calibur, and all a bunch of stuff. So I was gonna return to Smite eventually. It's been a hectic month just for video games in general. So I'm having to make a bunch of other videos. But yeah, without further ado, we're gonna be playing some Xing, and I'm gonna be going over and giving you guys a little bit of a guide on this. So yeah, let's get into it. So Xing is one of my favorite tanks to play just because, one, he's got a ginormous axe and he looks cool. Everything about him is really cool. Good damage, good CC. He's kind of a niche pick a little bit right now. I don't think he's top of the top at the moment. I mean, I think he's still pretty good. He's better in Arena, more or less, which is what I mainly play personally. But in Conquest, I'd say he's still viable, but you have to play a little bit more differently versus, going balls to the wall in Arena. Granted, that's all you ever do in Arena, but in Conquest, just be aware that you're gonna be taking less risks and you're still gonna be going in and being the main engage as what a main Guardian does, but you're not gonna be diving in every 5 seconds. You have to make sure that if you are gonna go in, you gotta make sure you get everything down packed, and you also have to pay attention to who the enemy laners are, because if they're anything that kind of just is not great for you, then you might want to think twice before you go in. But let's go ahead and talk about the build. So we're gonna start off with Gauntlet of Thebes, always, just because Gauntlet of Thebes is still just always a really good starter item. Not a starter item, but you know what I mean. Starting with this, if you guys don't want to actually go a starter item, this is what I normally go. If you guys do go starter item, always Guardian's Blessing. This is always a good choice. You can go Mage's Blessing if you're looking for a bit more damage, but I would really never do that. In terms of an arena build, I never build a starter item. I always go Gauntlet and then the following build after that. So if you're playing arena, just go straight up fucking this shit right here. If you guys are playing Conquest, probably might want to go starter item into Gauntlet, but again it's up to you and however you guys want to play. But me, I don't like building starter items necessarily, so it is what it is. So after Gauntlet of Thebes, we're going into CDR boots. You don't necessarily need them, but I like having a little bit of CDR, and then once I actually top off the build, you'll have about 20%. So it's not extravagant, and you're not going to cap out at 40%. You can if you want to, so you can swap out some items to get 40%, but me, I just rather have a little bit. I don't need anything like crazy, so 20% is perfectly fine for me. I feel like when you're playing Conquest, you're gonna have a lot more downtime, so you don't necessarily need everything up as much as possible. So for Arena, if you guys are playing that, or any other game mode which requires a lot less just try hardness, you don't necessarily need all of that. So I tend to just lean towards this build where it's 20%. If you guys want more damage, you guys can go pen boots, but I feel like it's a waste. It's not like you're gonna do, you get more out of Shoes of Focus, and you definitely get more out of reinforced shoes. Shoes of Focus is just for you get the same amount of damage, you get extra mana, which helps with your laning, and then you get the CDR, which again also helps with your abilities, and then you get it's just better in my personal opinion. You don't get a whole lot with Magi. Reinforced shoes is if you're looking to just go full tank mode and make sure that the enemy team comp is not going to lock you down for nearly as long with the CCR. So this is just again between reinforced and Shoes of Focus and whatever you guys pick. And then after that, we're going into Sovereignty. Now this is, again, situational, what exactly you're going to be going. So for me, if I want to be more of a team player, I'm going to go Sovereignty, just so that way I can have the aura. And if I don't give a fuck about my team, or I'm solo queue, or I just am trying to play for myself, I'll swap this out for Breastplate of Valor, which will then pop off with the CDR. So this would be the item, is that you're only going to switch out for Breastplate, and that would be the CDR build that you're going for. So it's going to depend on how you want to play. Personally, for me, I normally go Sovereignty because I'm playing with Steve all the time, so I get the aura for him. So it's just whatever you're feeling. If you guys want to support your team, Sovereignty. If you guys want to play for yourself and get that CDR and just make plays most of the time, then you go Breastplate. It's up to you. Then we go into Void Stone for the obvious, just a little bit of damage, a little bit of protection, a little bit of health. Then you also get the Aura, which enemy gods within 55 units have their magical protection reduced, which is super nice because this is like you do a lot of damage. Even though you're not necessarily building damage, you're still going to do a lot of damage to like specific characters like squishies, any mages that are very immobile, or ADCs that are immobile. You're going to do a lot, and having their magical protections damage reduced is not only going to allow your mages to do a good portion of damage, but you yourself are going to do a lot of damage. So that's why, in my personal opinion, Void Stone is pretty good. Then we go into Soul Reaver. Just this is your one and only damage item that's actually going to really help you out. You don't need anything else other than this. This is just going to basically give you that 2% of the target's maximum health as magical damage. So this is just going to help you out in general in terms of just kind of getting that big damage off. You're going to do, like, if you hit a squishy, you're basically going to take, if you full combo them, you're going to actually take out half their health, and if they don't have beads, you're just going to straight up kill them, honestly. You're going to lower their health all the way to basically like half any squishy, and then if your team has any brains at all, if they can't pick up after all the damage you did, then they're useless. So this is the only item you need to set your team up realistically for any kind of kills. And then we go for Mantle of Discord just for your basic physical, magical protections, the extra CDR, and then if you take damage below 30% health, this just gives you another form of CC. So again, just you're going for this CC build and being able to set up your team for a lot of stuff, and that's the important thing to know with Xing is setting up your team with a lot of stuff. You've got a bunch of stuns, you've got a bunch of like other things that you guys can handle in terms of the like crowd control. So having this extra item that, you know, if you're about to die, you pop off with a stun, can really save your ass and also set up your team for some form of kill. So it's really, really good. One thing that I do want to note, if you do want to swap out Soul Reaver, you can go Gem of ISO just because you'll be slowing them down to a crawl, but I don't think it's necessary. I just thought I should mention it in case you guys want to do something weird, but it's something that you can take a look at, of course. Now going over his abilities, we've got Smoldering Rage, which basically is just, you know, it's like the other passives in the game, and what I mean by that is like you don't really pay too much attention to it. Xing gains stacks of Smoldering Rage each time he hits an enemy with an ability. For each stack of Rage, Xing he gains a health basically, and he can stack it 12 times. Like I said, it's nice and everything, or not. It's nice, but it's just like it's whatever, you know. You're never gonna max it out all the time, and I mean by like the skirmishes don't last long enough for it to work, you know. Within like the first like a few seconds, it's pretty much the skirmish is gonna end in a team wipe or team, you know, retreats and whatnot. So it's nothing to pay too much attention to. So, but it's just, you know, bear that in mind. His first ability is Furious Roar, which does a lot of different things. It does damage, it does dot damage, damage reduction, and it's quite the ability. So it's a pretty decently sized line shot. You just, you know, blast them, and then, you know, they end up taking a bit of dot damage. You normally want to use this as like kind of either poke or use it after all your other stuff. So I'll show you guys the combo later on, but let's move on to the second ability, which is Hook Slam, which is the best ability, which is what you're gonna max first. I normally max 2, then 1, then 3, of course, then ult whenever is possible. So Hook Slam is your just straight up like you pop them up and then butt slam, and then it roots them for a certain period of time, so 2 seconds at max rank and so on and so forth. So this move is like the just bread and butter here, boys. You're gonna be knocking everything. You're gonna just, this can hit multiple targets. You can do a lot of damage in setting things up. So like legitimately, let's see here how we can make this work. So let's see if I can hit multiple. Let's see here. Yeah, we'll just try. Boom! Out there. Well, they can't get knocked up, but you can hit multiple people. I thought they could get knocked up, but anyway, yeah, it's really good, honestly. And basically, you would pop this, you do 2, 1, and then if they try and run away, then you can use your 3, or you can engage with your 3, which we'll go over now, which is Sky Cutting Axe, which this just allows you to front flip into your team, and you gain protections while you're leaping forward. So you can just do front flip ooh, and it does a decent amount of damage, nothing extravagant, you know, for a tank. It's whatever. So basically, you can either engage with this, or you can just run up, and then if they try and run away, you can use your 3 to chase them down if you so as much choose to do it that way. I don't necessarily recommend it. I rather use it to escape. You know, I'll engage this way, you know, knock them up, root, use the 1, this, and then if the skirmish isn't over, or whoever I rooted doesn't die, and then I'm starting to die, you know, just, you know, escape, run away like this. So it's always better to have an escape plan. Even though you're a guardian and you're supposed to be in there tanking, if it's not looking good, you have to be able to make the call whether to retreat and cut your losses versus staying and killing yourself. So just bear that in mind. And then as for your last ability, you basically just have this crazy ultimate where you can pull everybody and then throw them in any direction. Then you can combo it with your 2-in-1, and then you just doing all this damage. It's insane. You have the one of the best, like it's basically just kind of like a better version of Ares' ultimate, Cerberus' ultimate. In my personal opinion, I'd rather use what do you call it? I'd rather use Xing's ultimate versus those. Most people think that Ares is and Cerberus is better, and for me, I'm just like, yeah, I'm kind of just good. Like, there's no reason for me, like, it's just a little bit easier. He's got, you don't need blink for one in order to get in, because a lot of people when they play Ares or Cerberus or whatever, they normally blink in and then they'll use their ultimate. For me, you can just use your 2 to engage, and then you can just pop your ultimate this way. It does take a little bit of charge up time, but the end result is way more efficient in my personal opinion. So it just kind of depends on how you want to do it. Now, most people are going to be smart and know that beads is going to be absolutely necessary, because the actual like level of plays you can make with Xing are going to be broken. So you're going to need to be a little careful in terms of what you're going for. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a nasty, like it's going to be a very nasty ass ultimate. Like, I'm just going to show you guys a little bit of the damage here. Boom, 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 and then you pop the ultimate, and then it's just like you do a lot of damage like that. It doesn't look like a lot of damage, but believe me, that's a lot of fucking damage, and you can just do this. Like, anybody that's a squishy is pretty much gonna die. There's not much that they can do. And no matter how you look at it, it's gonna come down to how your team plays, because that's always the case with Guardians. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna get, you're not gonna just be solo killing everybody. Like, yeah, he does a lot of damage. I feel you guys, but like realistically, you're gonna be worrying about your team. Like, they have to be the ones to do everything after you open up with your abilities. So just be aware that if you're gonna go in, let your team know via just, you know, the emotes or the call outs, or if you have your mic in, you know, communicate, say, hey, I'm going in, I got my ult, whatever, and make sure they know what you're doing. Because if you go in by yourself, you're gonna be just kind of giving away free shit to the enemy team, and you don't want to be doing that. But anyway, that concludes today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you guys want to play some Smite or hit me up, whatever, just go ahead and add me up. GamerTag's in the description. All right, and yeah, peace out.